Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live. Emergency press conference. The Rangers re-sign Nathan Eovaldi, the number one priority of the offseason. Had to hop on one of the first times in this offseason. I think it's been worth getting on right away and talking it out. Huge moment, I think, in the Rangers 2024-25 offseason. They said it was the number one priority coming into it, and here they are. Gotta love it. Nate Eovaldi going to be a Texas Ranger once again. We will see what unfolds from here, but big news for the Texas Rangers. Couldn't be more pleased that we are getting Evo back in the fold. I think from now, you can really try and see what you can work out in terms of the bullpen, in terms of the rest of the lineup. But you've got Nate Eovaldi coming back, huge staple in the pitching rotation. You've now got DeGrom, you've got Evo. It was looking dicey there for a little bit, but having Nate Eovaldi back is everything. Awesome news and definitely worth celebrating. I think that as you've seen a lot of these other deals start popping up, clearly the Juan Soto deal yesterday or a couple of days ago, you had Max Fried signing with the Yankees for 8 years and $218 million. It's definitely nice to see the Rangers throwing their hat in the mix. Evo could have easily gone to a number of teams. I know that he was very well sought after. The Braves were interested. Many competitors were interested in Nate Eovaldi. To get him back in a Rangers uniform, I think really shows you the commitment that the front office is making to having a resurgence, to having a comeback in 2025. I could not be more thrilled, couldn't be more pleased. And again, super interested to see where the Rangers go from here. Rule 5 draft tomorrow. So we'll be back actually tomorrow for our weekly show. I told y'all as the offseason got into swing, if anything crazy came up, anything big came up, we'd hop on, do a quick live. And here we are celebrating the Rangers re-signing Nate Eovaldi. Let me get some of my TikTok people into the fold here. Appreciate all y'all tuning in, though. Thank you so much. So we'll get to comments. I'll definitely go through questions. It'll be a little bit of a shorter show tonight, just a little bit, because we'll be doing a lot tomorrow, breaking down the Rule 5 draft, who the Rangers picked up, who the Rangers had to give away. They clearly left some players unprotected in that Rule 5 draft. So we surely will be covering all of that tomorrow night. So if we go a little bit shorter, fear not, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm just trying to get my people in TikTok over into the live. Appreciate all of y'all hanging out. So let me get to comments here. Albert, what's up if you're still tuned in? Agreed. It's awesome news. Could not be more happy that the Rangers are able to get this deal done. 100%. Natalie, thanks for tuning in. This almost slightly makes me think there's more money than let on. Maybe that could be a possibility. Maybe the TV deal is going to be working itself out. Of course, we know that the Rangers are going to be creating their own streaming service, their own streaming network. So I'm not sure what is going to get figured out when it comes to that. I think most Rangers beat writers have said that it'll probably be after the holidays, after the new year, that we get the TV deal or we get the streaming service, whatever you want to call it, totally figured out. But right now, I think we have to be encouraged that they're going out and doing this deal with Nate Eovaldi. So we've got 3 years, $75 million. So Evo definitely gets a little bit of a pay upgrade there, $25 million a season. You've got to wonder if the other alternative here, we're talking about the Rangers re-signing starting pitcher and all-star pitcher, World Series, 2 times World Series champion, Nate Eovaldi. That's what we're talking about here on the show. A little emergency right on Rangers Live to celebrate this signing. It was the number one priority coming into the offseason. Chris Young, Fenstermaker, they were all very adamant about that. Evo, number one priority. I think you have got to be happy. You got to be elated if you're a Rangers fan. I was not looking forward to watching Nate Eovaldi pitch in another team's uniform in the 2025 season. Glad we don't have to. I think the other alternative here, getting back to my original point on the money, maybe it's possible the Rangers are going to be spending a little bit more money with this Evo deal. The other alternative, though, is you might see some players traded. You've got guys like John Gray, for example, that are going to be paid double-digit millions next year. I think John Gray is a $13 million hit. That could be a guy that maybe ends up getting traded. I don't know if that is the plan. I don't know if, as we mentioned, maybe there is some extra money that the Rangers are now factoring in as things unfold with the streaming service that they're going to be creating. But it's one of the two options. Either the Rangers are going to be spending a little bit more money this offseason, going a little bit more all in, or in the coming days, we may see some trades to make room for the salary. I don't think you can pay Evo, $25 million a year for the next 3 years and also be paying guys like John Gray $13 million a season. I love John Gray, love the competitor he is. I don't think John Gray is worth $13 million a year from what we've got for him the past 2-3 seasons. I think we can all agree there. There was talks John Gray was going to get moved to the bullpen. Who knows? I am very interested to see, though, if there are some names that are going to be getting traded to make room for Evo's salary, or if, surprise, surprise, the Rangers add on a little bit more money into the budget to sign some players. I would love if that was the actual answer there. But you know what? I trust the vision CY has, and Fenstermaker, Figueroa, all those guys. I think they have got an all-star front office. Never really doubted the whole process that CY has really had the Rangers on over the past 3 years. Last year, I think a little bit of an anomaly. You had so many guys getting hurt, so many guys underperforming. I think some people, you heard people start to question, without that World Series win, is CY on the hot seat, basically? Like in a world where the Rangers didn't win the World Series. I mean, I never really bought into that myself. It's interesting, I suppose, to theorize, but nevertheless, there's a reason why the Rangers won the World Series. A big part of that reason is what Chris Young was able to accomplish as a general manager. Now, let me get into more comments here. TikTok, what's up? I was having some technical difficulties, but I got y'all in here. Appreciate you. Thank you for the comments so far. I'm going to try and get to everybody's here. Gary, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Any chance they trade for Monty to get all the boys back together? I've heard some of the Rangers beat writers float this idea out there. I think right now you have the Diamondbacks a little bit backtracking, right? I think y'all know the owner really lit up Jordan Montgomery and basically said it was the worst signing that he had ever made, the worst acquisition in his history in baseball. It was something very grandiose and over the top, very embarrassing. Now, Jordan Montgomery had to opt into that contract. I think he's getting paid $22.5 million a year, something like that. Monty had to opt into that. He was not going to get anything close to $22.5, $25 million, whatever the figure is, after the season that he just had. But the word on the street is a lot of people think Jordan Montgomery is primed for a bounce back year. I do think that there is merit to that. Jordan Montgomery, you have to remember, with Scott Boras as his agent, held out of spring training. Monty did not have a full spring training. We know pitchers are creatures of habit, and I'm not surprised that he struggled out the gate getting outside of his routine. I'm really not surprised at all. Mr. Goodnight hopping on to say, how about them Rangers? Yes, sir. How about them Rangers re-signing Nate Eovaldi? Yeah, we're talking about some other moves the Rangers might make. Jordan Montgomery, I think that the Diamondbacks are probably going to hold on to him, hope he bounces back. That doesn't mean that he's not a candidate halfway through the year at the trade deadline. If the Diamondbacks are not being competitive for the playoffs, maybe they do trade Jordan Montgomery, who is in the last year of the 2-year deal that he signed with the Diamondbacks last offseason. Maybe the Rangers, if the money is right, if the Diamondbacks are willing to eat some of Jordan Montgomery's salary, maybe you see something like that happen. I think, though, the fact that the Rangers get Evo, there's a lot less pressure to go out and do anything crazy with the starting pitching. I think that you can definitely go out and get another guy, no doubt. And remember, Andrew Heaney is another guy Chris Young mentioned by name in the exit interviews that they did at the end of the 2024 season. He said something along the lines of re-signing Nate Eovaldi and Andrew Heaney are our top priorities. I want to say that those were almost exact words. So maybe we see an Andrew Heaney deal get made. I think that would be a very safe move. Andrew Heaney was a very solid fourth, fifth starter. Look, 4.50 ERA from a fourth or fifth starter, you really can't ask for a whole lot more than that. I know that there were some unreasonable Rangers fans out there that were expecting Andrew Heaney to have a 3.50 or sub 3 ERA. Look, in a fourth or fifth starter, all you want is 4 to 4.50 ERA. Just give the team a chance to win every time you take the bump. How many times did Andrew Heaney get like 0 to 2 runs of run support? It was like an ungodly streak that the Rangers were on at one point in Andrew Heaney starts, just leaving him with nothing. He would pitch 6 innings, give you 2 or 3 earned runs, quality start, and the Rangers would have a goose egg or 1 or 2. So Andrew Heaney, I think, could be a guy that you see the Rangers pick up. You've got Evo. Obviously, you've got DeGrom. You've got Cody Bradford. You've got Malley. You've got Kumar Rocker. You've got Jack Leiter. You really don't need to go make a crazy splash in the starting pitching market. You just did it with Nate Eovaldi. So I'm not thinking that the Rangers are going to be making any more big-time splashes starting pitching-wise. I do think you might see a guy like Andrew Heaney, a fourth or fifth starter type, picked up. We'll see what happens there. I think the Rangers are going to start turning their attention, though, to the bullpen and potentially the offense. I think those are the two things that you heard Chris Young, you heard Bruce Bochy talk about in their interviews today at the winter meetings. So I'm excited. I think that this is a huge, huge step for the Rangers this offseason. And I think now you're really going to be able to see everything start falling into place with the vision. The number one priority is taken care of. And now you see what else the Rangers are able to pull off. And I think that they're not done yet. Maybe we'll see some nice moves in the bullpen. The Rangers have been linked with a couple of fairly big-name relievers. We'll see what comes to pass. I'm excited about it. Let me get to more comments here. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. Little emergency right on Rangers Live to celebrate Nate Eovaldi getting signed. $25 million a year, $75 million total. So 3 years, $25 million a year. That is the deal. And again, number one priority this offseason. So got to be happy about that. Rangers getting things done. Comment here. Any chance that they try and make a big trade for Bellinger? Cody Bellinger is a guy who I believe is also in the last year of his contract with the Cubs. Another guy smartly, like Jordan Montgomery, who opted into his deal. He wasn't probably going to be getting a whole lot more than what he was going to get with the opt-in with the Cubs on the open market. If you do go get Bellinger, you got to think Nate Lowe is gone. And I know Nate Lowe has been the subject of some trade rumors. So Nate Lowe may be on the move. If you did go get a guy like Bellinger, I think that you got to at least inquire, see what the Cubs want for Cody Bellinger. I know that when you look at the numbers, maybe it doesn't seem like Bellinger offensively is an incredible upgrade, like leaps and bounds better. But I do think you have to contextualize Nate Lowe a little bit in the season he just had. His September was otherworldly, but Nate Lowe had a pretty terrible, I would say, April through August. Like August, it started getting better. September, it started getting even better. But April through July was basically horrible for Nate Lowe. And his numbers would have been a lot worse had he not had the incredible September that he did when the Rangers were essentially out of the race. Nate Lowe has talked about this. He knows he's got to be better in 2025. Will he get a chance to be better with the Rangers? Time will tell. I do think that the Rangers are going to make a phone call on a guy like Bellinger. You want to see where you can upgrade the offense. If it's not leaps and bounds upgrade, it's still a notable upgrade, I think, Cody Bellinger from Nate Lowe. I love Nate Lowe. He's a great teammate, but I do think that the Rangers would be interested in a guy like that. I think Nate Lowe is going to get traded if he does for reliever type pitching, I would think. And then maybe you make a separate trade with other minor leaguers for Bellinger. Can't really see the Cubs and the Rangers doing a straight up swap of the first baseman, but maybe, I don't know, maybe that would be a deal. Maybe they are thinking something like that. Don't know. We'll see. Keep going with comments. Let me try and swap back and forth here a little bit. Heard a rumor, Gary says, of Heim for Bellinger. Any legs to that? Catching is so hard to get. I don't think that the plan right now is Jonah Heim getting traded. The front office essentially came out and said Higashioka and Heim are going to be getting equal playing time. I think you would have heard them probably, or not heard them, I should say, mention Heim's name if he was really a big-time subject of trade talks. I don't think that they would really outline that plan. I think they would have been a little bit more vague to come out and say Heim and Higashioka are going to be splitting time evenly. To me, it makes me feel like it's probably going to be Jonah Heim and Kyle Higashioka back and forth. I don't really think that's going to be something that ends up happening. I see us trading minor leaguers for Bellinger. Maybe you throw in Nate Lowe as well in a deal like that. The Cubs are trying to probably dump a little bit of salary getting rid of Bellinger and maybe get some big prospects back in return. I can't really imagine they would be happy with just Nate Lowe in that package. The Rangers would probably have to give up some of their good prospects. I'm not saying elite prospects, but good prospects. Keep going here. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Evo's terms, Patrick, what's up, man? I know I've repeated a couple of times, so maybe you heard already, but 3-year deal, $75 million contract total, so $25 million a year. That is the deal for Nate Eovaldi. Appreciate all the comments here. I'm going to switch back and forth, do a little YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then I'll make sure I get back to the TikTok comments as well. Appreciate all you guys. Aaron, if you're still watching, the word on Yates or Robertson, I haven't heard anything on them. I think most people believe that Kirby Yates and David Robertson are going to command $10 million a year. And I don't know if the Rangers are wanting to spend $10 million a year on a relief pitcher. I think that their plan and really the MO for the Rangers has been go get bargain guys in the bullpen, get vets that can get the job done, that have been there, done that, like David Robertson, like Kirby Yates. Hope that some young guys emerge. I think that's going to be a similar plan. I know the Rangers have been linked to some relievers at this point, but at the end of the day, I don't know how much money they're going to be able to pump into the bullpen. And you kind of saw what happened with the Astros. Remember last offseason, there was a lot of talk about the Rangers getting Josh Hader. Astros came in, swooped him up for what, 5 or 6 years and over $100 million. And Josh Hader, he was very good this year at times, but he melted down a number of times down the stretch and into the playoffs. And I think most Rangers fans breathe a sigh of relief that we didn't invest $100 million into Josh Hader. Let's keep going. I'm going to go through more comments here, and then I'm going to go through all the rumors that I'm aware of. I know a lot of y'all are curious about things. All of the rumors I'm aware of, I'll go through. Appreciate all the people that are following, though. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Caleb, Baseball Network. Yeah, what's up, my guy? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. I really just can't be any more happy. I'm seeing a lot of positive Evo comments. What Rangers fan did not want Nate Eovaldi back? I mean, Nate Eovaldi is a freaking dog. I think he had a 280-ish. I think he has a 280-ish postseason career ERA. The man is a gamer in October. They were actually kind of teasing a little bit today. Rangers Nation, who I follow, and I know I've talked about Rangers Nation. A lot of y'all probably follow them too. Rangers Nation posted something today. It was from, I believe, Nate Eovaldi's wife, her Instagram account. She posted a picture at Evo. They were out on the boat. I don't know what they were fishing, whatever, just having a good time. And there were a couple of Rangers fans that said, re-sign with Texas. You know, we really want Nate to come back. And apparently Nate Eovaldi's wife liked both of those comments, a couple of different comments. So Rangers Nation was basically saying, is there something to this? And sure enough, just a few hours later, we get the news that Nate Eovaldi re-signs. How about that? Good stuff, guys. Very, very good stuff. We keep on going here. We'll try and get to everything that I've got for you, and then I'll do a little bit more tomorrow. But I just could not be any more happy with the news today. So Ken Rosenthal, in a video interview, I forget who it was with. I know Ken Rosenthal goes on a lot of podcasts. He did suggest, this is probably like 4 or 5 days ago, that Jock Peterson would be a good fit for the Rangers. I think some people mentioned Jock Peterson in the comments. He added that the club has talked about trading first baseman Nathaniel Lowe. And I know that that's an option that had been discussed previously. So the Diamondbacks, they really do want Jock Peterson back. There's a couple other teams that could use him. But I do think that the Rangers are a pretty intriguing fit for Jock Peterson. And as a caveat, he kind of added in so many words, what's Ray Davis going to do with the TV revenues? If the TV revenues are positive, Jock Peterson could definitely be a guy that maybe the Rangers are able to get to come along. But we know that Texas wants to add more offense, according to Ken Rosenthal. So there's the Rosenthal report for you. Evo re-signs 3 years, $75 million. That was my second point. Let's see. There was another MLB.com writer who identified the Rangers as one of 4, 5, 6 teams that could make a surprise splash in the offseason. And the quote was, the front office should be empowered to increase the payroll. We know it's a front office capable of big swings. So there are some writers around the sport that are holding out hope that the Rangers are going to maybe make a little surprise splash and get some headlines. All right, let me keep going here. Jim Bowden of The Athletic, he kind of was putting together some relief pitchers, matching up relief pitchers with some of the Rangers, and he ended up matching up us with Jeff Hoffman, 3-year, $27 million deal. And there were a few other names that he threw in there as well. He mentioned Aroldis Chapman. Chappie signed for a 1-year, $10.7 million deal with the Red Sox. I don't know if y'all saw that. So Aroldis Chapman is getting $10.75 million. Wow. If he's getting $10.75 million, you've got to think that there's going to be some relievers getting paid this offseason. I mean, we'll see what happens. Let's talk about Roki Sasaki real quick. So I think that we have to keep in mind there's going to be a ton of interest. You're going to be hearing a ton of rumors. But Jeff Passan, ESPN writer, obviously a lot of us know Jeff. He says, don't forget about the Padres, the Rangers, or the Cubs. And don't forget that when Ohtani's free agent process was playing out, Shohei Ohtani, the Angels were never mentioned among the favorites. So you're hearing a lot of chatter with Roki Sasaki, clearly the Dodgers and like the handshake deal or whatever. I know that came out. I think that the Rangers having got Higashioka, obviously signing Yu Darvish in the early 2010s. We know Ohtani, when he first was coming into the league, we know that the Rangers were an option before he signed with the Angels. I don't think we're going to get anything definitive. We talked about this on past shows until January 15th. It's all a part of Roki Sasaki being a part of the 2025 international signing class, whatever you want to call it. Basically, January 15th is kind of the date when all that gets started. So I don't think we're going to hear a whole lot on Sasaki until after January 15th. We'll see. I'll keep you posted if I hear anything, but I know a lot of Rangers fans are very curious what's going to happen with that. And beyond that, I didn't have a whole lot else that I compiled notes on. Look, John Gray is definitely a guy I think that the Rangers are toying around with trading as well. I think that moving his $13 million contract is going to help free up some salary now that you've signed Evo. Also, there were apparently, and I didn't realize this, there were a lot of talks about Leody Taveras at the trade deadline. Apparently, Leody Taveras, definitely an intriguing option to some teams around the league. Look, I love Leody, but those teams can have him. If you want Leody Taveras, I'm okay with parting ways. I think Leody has had a lot of big moments for the Rangers, but if somebody else wants to take him off our hands, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain at all. There are some other players that were generating some interest in trade talks. Josh Smith, Jack Leiter, and very interestingly, Marcus Semien. Those are players. Again, these are rumors. These are not like substantiated, like definitely happening. These are just rumors, talks, things that some of the big reporters in the sport are floating around. And sometimes we know they floated around for clicks, but we know sometimes there is validity to this. So John Gray, Leody, Josh Smith, Jack Leiter, and Marcus Semien, guys that have at least been floated around in other organizations and possibly within the Rangers organization as trying to trade or trying to become trade partners with. We'll see what happens. Now, Rule 5 draft is tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow to talk Rule 5 draft, and I have more that I'm going to go through with you. Like I said, we'll keep this a little bit on the shorter side. Also today, the big news, the Rangers are going to be drafting 12th in the MLB draft in June, I believe. Look, they finished in terms of the standings with the 8th worst record in Major League Baseball. So I really feel like they got a little bit of the short end of the stick here. I mean, they did. I don't know how much I love the lottery beyond like the worst 8 teams. Like, do you really need to add in 12 or however many different spots into the lottery for the first pick? I think the bottom 8 teams would probably do just fine. I just don't think you should have a chance as whatever the 12th best team or the 12th worst team in baseball to have a chance at the number 1 pick. I know they're trying to prevent taking. I totally get it, but I still don't think the 12th worst team in the big should have a chance at the number 1 pick in the draft. Just my thoughts, just my feelings on it. I know it's a little controversial what they do with the lottery system. Definitely unlike what the NFL does, but similar to what the NHL does if you're a hockey fan. I just don't love that the Rangers drop all the way down to 12th after finishing with the 8th worst record. You feel like you should at least get a top 10 pick if you were in the bottom 10. Like, at least get a top 10 pick. So disappointing, I think. But then again, when the Rangers have had higher first-round draft picks, it hasn't always worked out great. You never know. Maybe the Rangers, it's a blessing in disguise that they're picking a little bit lower. We'll see what happens. I'll be very curious. That's a little bit of a ways off, but the Rangers will be picking 12th in the MLB draft next summer. July. I said June. It'll be in July. All right. Let me keep going here. Appreciate all y'all. Let's see. Vic, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Not watching Mavs right now, but I will be watching them a little bit later on. Right now, it's all Rangers. Re-signing Nate Eovaldi. Absolutely huge. Let me keep going. Sasaki still possible after Evo signing? Yes, Gary, because Sasaki, just the way that it works with his posting by his team in the MPB, I don't think he's able to get the huge contract that, for example, Yamamoto got when he came over. I think it's actually going to be a pretty affordable contract. So I'm definitely thinking it's still in the mix to get Sasaki. There's going to be a lot of people that are interested in him. People in his camp, Patrick says on TikTok, people in his camp says Sasaki wants to be in a smaller market. Okay. Hey, I don't know. We've gone back and forth about this. Are the Rangers a small market team? Look, I don't know. I think of the Rangers as a small market team, even though they play in DFW. Like, for MLB, they are not known as a big brand. And you guys know I'm the biggest Rangers diehard. I love the Rangers, but I would not consider the Rangers to be one of the big brands in Major League Baseball. And so because of that, I really don't call them like a big market team. So I think the Rangers could be perfect for a guy like Sasaki if he's looking to do a little bit of a smaller market. Yeah, I don't think, Manuel, I don't think that the Rangers are going to be in on any frontline starters. Look, there's some talk. Maybe they'll make a surprise splash. I really don't know if that is going to be a pitcher, be a batter. We'll see. But I would be surprised if they go out and make a really big splash in the pitching market. You've already got DeGrom and you've got Evo leading up the pitching staff, and you've got some really solid pitchers after them. Cody Bradford, Tyler Mahle, Kumar Rocker. You've got John Gray, who I know had a down season last year, but he's been a guy that has been at the top of the league in the past seasons. So, and not like, I'm not saying the past like 2 or 3, but with Colorado, John Gray was an elite pitcher. He's got the stuff. I think that the Rangers have some quality pieces in the rotation right now. Don't know if they really need to go blow a lot of money on a guy like Corbin Burnes, as good as Corbin Burnes is. We'll see what happens, though. We shall see. Jamie Newberg, by the way, some of y'all might follow Jamie. I love the Newberg report. He's doing a bunch of stuff right now, too. Love reading his work. Jamie Newberg. I would definitely recommend the follow. He's on Substack, if you know that app. He's got a lot of his stuff out on Substack. He's been putting out a lot recently with the winter meetings and everything. In fact, full disclosure, I want to make sure I give Jamie credit. I just read off some of his bullet points before I get on the show, take some notes. So Jamie's stuff, highly recommend. Please definitely head his way for really, really high quality Rangers content. Let me keep going here. Trade some prospects for Luis Robert. Definitely Robert, I think, is interesting. The Rangers could probably use another outfielder. Truth be told, you're hoping that Evan Carter rebounds. You're hoping Adolis Garcia rebounds. I would like to see the Rangers go out and get a substantial piece in the outfield. Maybe it doesn't have to be an all-star. Like, it doesn't have to be a step below Juan Soto, but a guy that is going to give you 20 bombs, 80 RBI, that type of player. I would love to see the Rangers go out and acquire. Keep going. The haul for Marcus would be insane, but no. Marcus, I think, is primed for a bounce-back season. I love Marcus Semien. I would really be disappointed if the Rangers ended up trading him. I hope it doesn't happen. I know that he had a little bit of a down year, and I know that the contract with the down year in combination, it doesn't look great. Like, Marcus Semien is going to be what he was last year for the rest of his contract. You probably do want to think about trading him. I do think Marcus Semien is going to bounce back in 2025. Heart and hustle guy. He is an extremely, extremely hard worker. I just find it hard to believe he's going to have the same type of season that he had in 2024. Marcus Semien, out of all the Rangers players, he would probably be the guy that I bet on the most to have a really strong bounce back campaign. So I'm not a big fan of trading Marcus. I get it. I get it. He had a bad year, and the contract for Marcus Semien is big. It's a lot of money, and Marcus is still going to be around for about 3 or 4 more seasons, signed the 7-year deal back in 21. So he's in year 4 of the deal, I believe. Year 4. I think that's right. I get it, but I don't want to see it happen either. It would have to be a pretty nice haul. Clearly, you could slide in Josh Smith. If you traded Marcus Semien, you could slide Josh Smith into that role. You'd have some things to fill up front. I do think the Rangers are going to have to get creative. You've got Walcott in the minor leagues. He's going to be coming up in a couple of years. Maybe the Seager move to first base ends up being a thing, but I don't know. I'm not going to be super pumped if Marcus Semien gets traded. Again, it's just a rumor. It's just something that has been thrown out among all the MLB writers. You just don't know what's real, what has legs and what doesn't, but just reading you what the rumor mill is saying. AJ Minter is a guy I think the Rangers have been rumored with as well. So I have heard the Minter rumor. I don't know if the Rangers are wanting to spend a ton of money on a guy like AJ Minter. It doesn't seem like it lines up with everything else. Like AJ Minter, you got to think, is probably going to be making that double-digit figure that we talked about earlier. So I really don't know. Like I'm definitely not sure exactly what the Rangers are going to do with the bullpen. I'd like to think that they're going to go out and they're going to get somebody of value, maybe overpay a little bit for someone, but just don't know. But AJ Minter, yep, he's a guy that I have heard that the Rangers are interested in bringing in. And then beyond that, Max Fried was a guy that the Rangers were interested in signing. He was kind of the backup if Evo was not going to be able to be re-signed. So when Max Fried went off the board, I kind of wondered, I just wonder if maybe the Rangers have something worked out with Nasty Nate. And sure enough, they did. All right, let me keep going here. Santander is the DH. Look, Gary, that would be a pipe dream for me. I've talked about Anthony Santander from the Baltimore Orioles a ton, a 40 home run guy. I would love to have a guy like him in the mix. I think Santander, he's going to be getting a pretty penny. I just don't know if the Rangers are in the market for that big of a star. I'm not going to be mad at it. I would love Santander. Just don't know, though. Just don't know. JJ, what's up, man? I bet we make a move with the White Sox since Will Venable is there. Maybe Crochet. Hey, Crochet could definitely be a guy I think that the Rangers would love having. So you go get Crochet. Now you got two lefties in the starting rotation. Look, Andrew Heaney, if we get a guy like him back, maybe that's now you got three lefties and Heaney can kind of be a flex guy as needed. They did say, by the way, I know I keep bringing up Andrew Heaney. They did say in the exit interviews, CY particularly, Nate Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney, two of the top priorities, re-signing. So we'll see what happens. I know Andrew Heaney isn't like big blockbuster news, but I think that would be a solid guy to have at the back end of your rotation. A guy that stayed healthy, was the only Ranger starting pitcher to stay healthy in 2024 and gave you a chance to win a ball game most times out. Let me keep going. Definitely, John, with you. They need lockdown guys that they can go with, both in the 8th inning and in the 9th inning. Chances for Sasaki, I don't even know if it's 50-50. I'm going to say it's like a 33% chance. Like, I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I'm going to go with like 33 to 40% chance. I think that they've got a shot, but he's going to be very well sought after. Extremely well sought after. Let me keep going. Natalie says, in your opinion, where will Carter and Langford play in the field when they do? Carter's got the most center field experience. So for me, I think that Carter in center has got to be the play. Langford, a corner outfielder by trade. He's played a little bit of center field, and I think he definitely can play center field, but I do feel like they're probably going to revert Carter back to that role. Maybe not. It all depends on the offseason. How's Carter coming along? How's his movement? You know, the back issues, that can affect a lot of different things. So does he have as much range? Does he have, you know, as much athletic ability, the quickness, the route running, all that stuff? You know, who knows? Hopefully he's back to 100%. If he is, I think center field is a great place to play Carter. Wyatt Langford can play left, and you're going to see Doley a lot in right. That's kind of what I would be thinking out the gate, just off the top of my head. Keep going here. I don't have a whole lot else to go through tonight. As I told y'all, I'm going to be back tomorrow night. My weekly show is on Wednesday for the Rangers, but I promised y'all, anything big happens in the off season, any big signing, re-signing, we'd be here to celebrate it with y'all. And sure enough, here we are celebrating the Rangers re-signing ace, all-star, two-time World Series champion Nathan Eovaldi to a 3-year, $75 million deal. It feels good. Feels right. Evo in a Rangers uni at this point just feels right. And you would think, guys are going a lot longer these days, but you would think that now Evo probably retires as a Ranger. Maybe he does the Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, pitch until you're 40, 41, whatever. But you would think that this gets Evo to retirement. And you know what? If he wants to go do a 1-year deal somewhere weird, so be it. But I love that the Rangers pretty much have locked him up for the remainder of his career, at least what you would think. Big game Nate, nasty Nate, gotta love it. Gotta love it. And now, looking forward, we look for the Rangers to fill out the bullpen. We see if they're going to make some offensive splashes. And then we also think about other guys that are free agents. Will they re-sign Andrew Heaney? Will they re-sign Kirby Yates, David Robertson? These are all things that I am super curious to see unfold, how they play out. Don't know. But we are going to be here as much as we possibly can throughout the offseason. When we get big breaking news like this, we'll try and go live as soon as we possibly can. A little emergency Right on Rangers Live, hang out with y'all and talk all things Rangers baseball. Let me keep going. I'm going to finish up, see if we got any other comments. Yates, I definitely think it could be a guy that you bring back. If you bring back Yates, though, you're probably not going to bring back Robertson or any other big names. And my one thing with Yates is this. You kind of had this year out of nowhere where the dude was just totally dominant. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be realistic here. Is Kirby Yates going to follow up what he did last year and do it again this year? I mean, I don't see a reason why he can't, but I also know it's baseball. It's hard to repeat the level of dominance that Kirby Yates just had over almost all opposing teams in 2024. So I think that's the only thing you got to ask yourself if you're CY, if you're Fenstermaker, Figueroa, all those guys in the front office, Schumacher. Like, is Kirby Yates, if you're going to re-sign him, is that dude going to repeat what he did in 24? I don't know. I would be a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger on a Kirby Yates type. You're up there in age. You're commanding a big salary. Kirby Yates is going to want $10 million. And were you kind of a one-hit wonder late in your career? Are we going to see Kirby Yates regress to kind of his mean of the past several seasons? Because it's not like Kirby Yates did this in 2023. I mean, we look at Kirby Yates' numbers right now. I'll kind of go through them with you as best I can from the past few seasons. You look at his baseball ref page. 2024, obviously a killer year, 117. With Atlanta, 328. With, let's see, Atlanta in 2022, 514. And then didn't play due to injury in 2021. In the 2020 COVID year, he had a 12.46 ERA. So, look, Kirby Yates been a little all over the place, but the ERA has been coming down. We went from 12.46 in 20, 5.14 in 22, 3.28 in 23, and 1.17 in 24. So we're slowly bringing that ERA down from the abysmal 2020 year. Kirby Yates, I think, is a great pitcher overall. I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff by any means, but he is going to be 38 this coming season. If he didn't turn 38 already, when's his birthday? March 25th. He's turning 38 right before the season. So 38 years old. I don't know. For me, I think you might be wiser to invest your money into a pitcher that's a little bit younger, early 30s, late 20s. Minter, I'm going to look up Minter right now since that's another guy that the Rangers are linked to at this point. AJ Minter, 31 years old, 2.62 ERA. Had a 3.76 ERA last year, a 2.06 ERA before that. AJ Minter is probably a guy that I would rather have over a Kirby Yates if I could have my choice. I think Kirby Yates, 38 years old going into the season, that's tough. 31-year-old AJ Minter, lefty. I love that. Lefty pitchers that have a little gas. And AJ Minter, definitely a gamer. 2.62 ERA last year. Let's see. Guy who collected a bunch of holds. Not sure if I'm going to be able to pull up his hold totals or not. Looks like he had one save. Let me see. Where are those dang holds? I'm not going to find it, I don't think, on the fly here. But if I do, I'll let y'all know. But I believe he was up there. Definitely was up there in the holds department, which in my mind, just as good as a save. Just as good. The news was Nate Eovaldi resigns 3 years, $25 million. Let's go. Nothing been said on Devin Williams either, John. That was another guy that I know has been the subject of a lot of trade talks. The Brewers closer, Devin Williams, look, had a little bit of a rough go in the playoffs. I don't know if y'all remember Devin Williams gave up, I believe, that big bomb to Pete Alonso in Game 5, was it? I think that was Devin Williams getting rocked by Pete Alonso there. I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure that it was Williams. But he's been the subject of a lot of trade talks. I think that you got to think about guys that you have in the system. Who are you willing to give up? And Devin Williams, I don't know what the contract is. Is it a 1-year rental? Devin Williams contract. Let's see what we got. Is that a 1-year rental? I don't know. Let's see. Contract. Come on now. Hard to do things on the fly. He signed a 1-year, $555,000 contract with the Brewers, but he's making $8.4 million this year. Okay, so he's getting paid this year. All right, so that was like right when he first started out, but he is making $8.4 million, and then he's an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So you'd be getting Devin Williams for a year. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm with you. Can't wait to see Evan Carter again. I think that is going to be awesome. I definitely am pumped to have a fully healthy Rangers lineup. Josh Young fully healthy, Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford. He missed some time with the hammy. I'm just ready to see everybody fully healthy. Corey Seager fully healthy. We know he had a super slow start due to his injury with his hernia that he got fixed in spring training. I just want to see a fully healthy Rangers lineup. You add in Higashioka. Maybe you add in another offensive bat. I like it. I think that this move, though, it just gives me a lot of confidence and positive vibes for the rest of the offseason. Had the Rangers skimped out on Nate Eovaldi, I think it would have left a bad taste in a lot of our mouths. Now the Rangers have Evo. I think you can feel good that they're going to put together a nice package for the 2025 season to fill some of the holes and fill some of the spots of guys that have left. I could be totally wrong, but it just feels like the Nate Eovaldi signing is going to get the snowball rolling down the hill. You're going to start seeing the Rangers putting things together, and perhaps they're going to be spending a little bit more money than what we thought originally. Would love that. Yeah, that's right. Seager did have another surgery at the beginning of the offseason. I think all accounts are Siegs is going to be ready to go by the beginning of spring training with some time off. I've seen some pics of him enjoying the offseason. Justin Turner, another guy, by the way, and I thought about Justin Turner because him and Corey Seager are really good friends. Justin Turner, of course, got traded to the Mariners from the Blue Jays. Siegs and Turner were teammates for the Dodgers. JT is another guy that has been thrown around as a possibility for the Rangers. Another guy that you maybe have as a DH type, a guy you can plug in the infield here and there. I know you've got Josh Smith, Swiss Army knife, but JT, Justin Turner, was another guy that they had at least thrown out there, maybe a potential fit for the Rangers. I'm sure Corey Seager would be pumped. I do agree, though. The pitching, I think, is the number one priority. Totally agree. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pitching has got to be the priority. Getting that bullpen set, maybe getting one more solid 4th or 5th starter. That's what I'd like to see. JJ, we talked about Belly. We talked about Bellinger a little bit earlier. I think you've just got to consider, what do you want to trade for Belly? Do you want to trade Nate Lowe and some pretty high-level prospects? Like, Belly's a 1-year deal. I don't know what the Cubs are asking for him. I would love to upgrade slightly in the first base department. I don't think it's like leaps and bounds better than Nate Lowe, but I do think it's definitely an upgrade that I would be willing to do 100%. If Bellinger is on the market, Cubs are willing to trade him, and the Rangers can find a good package deal to put together to get him, awesome. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but Nate Lowe, definitely a guy that has been in the trade talks. We'll see what happens. We shall see. All right, y'all. I'm going to sign off for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow for a weekly show. So if you want to come hang out tomorrow, I'll be popping on probably at about 9 p.m. Central Time for all my Texas people. That's about 7 p.m. my time out here on the West Coast. So I'm going to try and get on around that time, and we'll talk a lot more. We'll be able to talk Rule 5 draft. I have some other rumors, hot stove stuff to go over. Going to save a little bit for the show tomorrow. Of course, y'all know Wednesdays are my weekly Rangers offseason show, but we're live tonight celebrating re-signing Nate Eovaldi, little emergency ride on Rangers Live. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for all the people. I see a bunch of people on TikTok that follow during the live. Thank you. Means a lot. If you're not following, you're not subscribed to the channel, to the account yet, would greatly appreciate you hit that follow or subscribe button. And if you know somebody that loves the Rangers, you know a diehard Rangers fan out there, or someone that just loves Major League Baseball, please send them one of my videos. Send them my live right now. Send them my way. I would greatly appreciate continuing to grow this great group of people we got talking Rangers baseball. That's why I started this. I love it. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.